Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Before I retired, Demer Corporation was telling me, they wanted me to be a project manager. Now, I'd been with the company for about 7 years. And I knew I was going to retire at 62. Had that plan made up. I didn't tell anybody, but I had that plan made up. I'd had 2 open heart surgeries, been sick with myocarditis, and just didn't want to do it. So I figured I was going to I'm going to retire at 62, maybe make 65, and croak. But they said, we really want you to be we really want you to be a project manager. I said to the guy who was pushing me on it, I said, why do you want me to be a project manager? Well, you've got all these skills and you know how to take care of things and you can make things work well. And yeah, okay. What you want me to do is take care of this customer that no one wants. Everybody hates this customer because he expects what he expects. Happened to be Caterpillar. I said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So they ended up firing a couple of project managers who happened to be stuck with the Caterpillar process. Caterpillar said, if you don't get this job right, this last job that we're going to offer you, if you don't get this absolutely right, we're going to drop you as a customer. Well, that was about a third of the business. So they came to me, and I had turned 62 about 6 months before that. And I knew that I was going to retire at the end of my 62nd year on the earth. And I said, why do you want her to be a project manager? Why don't you make a project engineer? Engineers got a lot more abilities and capabilities, and they can manage the job better than a project manager, because what you want to do is you want to have the people understand what's supposed to be done and expect what happens to be right. Well, I told him at a couple of companies we had changed the quality managers and manufacturing managers into one person and made quality engineers just engineers, and manufacturing engineers just engineers, so that they all work together on the same thing, trying to get the project to work. They wanted to have it right when they were done. So he said, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. So he pitched it to the guy who was in charge of the company, and they said, yeah, okay, that's fine. So they made me a project engineer. And I went out and I said, okay, what's wrong with this part? Why are we having a problem with this part? Well, it's a new part. We haven't even made it yet. We're going to have dies coming in about 3 months, and we're going to be making the parts, and we're going to be assembling the parts. And they sent us these work instructions so that we can run the dies and make all the pieces, but we got 30 days to ship them parts. And I said, 30 days? Holy cow. Well, I knew if they laid me off, if I screwed it up so bad that I couldn't survive it, they laid me off, all I was going to do was collect unemployment till the end of the year, and then I was going to retire. So I'd make a lot of money on unemployment, and I'd retire. Maybe I'd stay on unemployment. At the time, we had unemployment that would last 2 years. Just stupid. 2013. Stupid. So I said, okay, show me the prints, show me the parts, show me the work instructions, show me the dies and fixtures and everything, where they're at. And I took one of the guys that was working for me and I said, okay, I want to have all this stuff laid out, ready to run. And I want to have it ready to run on benches. And you tell me how long it's going to take. Easiest way to do it, rather than me giving him a impossible timeline that he couldn't meet. I knew I had 30 days to make the parts. He said, well, I don't know. It's probably going to take all of a month. I said, well, we got to get it done in a couple of weeks. What can we do to make it go faster? Well, if I had a couple more people, I said, no problem, you got them. I went and got a couple of guys. One was a welder, one was a machinist. And I said, you 3 guys work together on this, and I'm going to talk to you every day about it. We're going to find out where you're at, see what help you need. You're not alone on this. We're all working together to make this happen. Well, they had sent fixtures in. What we needed to have was tables. So I said, okay, go to the warehouse, get the tables, bring them over here. We're going to set it up in this area. We blocked out an area in the plant and set up the tables and set up the welders and had the maintenance department wire up the welders, get them all fixed up and run air lines to the fixtures, get all the pieces ready to go. And then we made up 2 sets of parts. Since we didn't have to stamp anything with the punch presses, it was all plasma cutter. We all cut the whole thing out of sheet. It was an armor plate job for a Caterpillar bulldozer that they sold to the Israelis. And while they were doing that, I read a book on Caterpillar. We had a quality control manual from Caterpillar that told us exactly what they wanted and how they wanted it. I knew that I was in trouble. I was going to have to really push things hard. So, since I didn't care if I lived or died after this project was over, because I knew I was going to leave, I said, okay, let's get started. And we made enough parts and pieces to assemble 2 complete kits. And we really had to push hard. I had to have people work overtime, and I had to have the plasma cutter work overtime, and really had to make a lot of effort in this thing just to make sure everything went together the way it's supposed to. Got all done. The guy who was in charge of the assembly of these parts said, we fixed them all. We got them all working. I said, what do you mean fixed them? Well, we had one part that when they were cutting it, they put an extra hole in it. They missed with one of the holes. But don't worry, we welded it up, and the weld, we ground it off. You can't see it's there. I said, well, you know, that's armor plate. And when you put welding rod on it, 7018, and filled the hole with welding rod, that's not armor plate. That's 7018. It's good strong steel, 70,000 psi yield strength, but it's not armor plate. Also, you put a stress riser in the center of this piece of armor plate, so it's going to crack if it gets hit. Bullet comes to that thing, it's going to just bust it. So I said, we're going to ship just 1 part, because we were supposed to ship 2 sets by the end of the 2nd month. And I said, we're going to make enough for both shipments at one time. You're running a plasma table, you got the steel in, you just tell them cut 2 pieces while you're doing it. That way if you got a problem, you got one you can get rid of. So I had to ship 1 full set of parts within 30 days from the day I said, yeah, go. We had enough armor plate to make 1 full set, and I said, make the other set up, but just leave the 1 piece out and get another one made and make a full set of that. So that's what they did. I got it all ready to ship, and I had parts sitting on the shelf, ready to go on the truck. And I said, okay, we got an express truck that's going to take them down to Texas. It's going to take 5 days to get there. So I'm standing on the shipping dock because I've been waiting 5 days for the Caterpillar plant to call back and say the parts are good. I knew the parts were good. We checked them. They all were just exactly the way they were supposed to be. So I called the plant down there and I talked to the quality guy, and he said, yeah, but we can't get him approved until this other guy signs off on him. Guy above him. He had no leverage on him. He couldn't make him do anything. I said, okay. Well, there was a guy who was in charge of the United States Quality Department for Caterpillar. And he was the one that everybody was scared of. because he was mean. If you lied to him, your life was done. Well, I called him up. Once again, knowing full well, worst that could happen is they send me home on unemployment and I'm retired. So I called him up and I said, we haven't got the approvals back from you. Well, you know, it takes time to do that. I said, you gave me 30 days. You gave me 30 days to get these parts down to you. Page 3 of your manual says if we don't meet all specs and have an approved signed copy of the results in my hands, then when I ship them down to you, you don't have to pay me for them. I said, I turned this place upside down and I made a lot of friends' enemies just to get these parts down to you on time. I've got a truck sitting on the dock. He's charging me by the hour for downtime. If you don't give me a call back and fax me those documents within the hour, I'm going to send him on. They're not going to get to you. They're not going to go on the boat. You're going to miss your deadline. I'm probably going to get fired. Well, when I told him I read the book, pretty much took everything he had to say to me out of his mouth. He said, we'll have it done. Had copies of the drawings, signed off, approved, quality documents saying that the parts were acceptable, and we shipped him another set of parts that day on the express truck. The next month, I shipped him 7 sets. Then the next month, I retired. I don't know who shipped what to him. I don't know if they lost the business or kept the business or anything else. I do know that 2 years later, when they called me back to help them out with some work instructions, that they weren't making Caterpillar parts. So whatever happened, happened. Sorry they lost the business. It was a good project. We had put a lot of work into it. It was actually an easy one to make. And it's a steady bit of business. $30 million a year. Not the biggest job in the plant, but $30 million steady is pretty good. So anyways, I've learned a lot of lessons over the years. The people who I thought did me the worst probably trained me the most in how to handle people who are like that. And I have very little patience for people like that. And I try and make sure I always put myself in a position that, you know, if things go to hell, I'm retired. I don't need it. So, if you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.